The growing threat of communist China looming over President Biden as he joins world leaders at the NATO Summit in Europe. The high-stakes gathering coming on the heels of Treasury Secretary Yellen's visit to China last weekend, where she was criticized for bowing to her Chinese counterpart, a move our next guest calls sickening and dangerous. Fox News contributor and former House Speaker Newt Gingrich joins us live. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. First, we'll start with the NATO summit. What is most important? There's so many topics to discuss. There's Ukraine, there's China, there's North Korea, there is Sweden possibly getting into NATO. Looks like it will, maybe Ukraine as well.
Look, I mean, the immediate crisis is getting enough weapons to the Ukrainians that they can effectively defeat the Russians. The West has taken far too long, been far too slow. The support's been much too piecemeal. And the truth is, as President Biden inadvertently admitted the other day, we're short on ammunition. We have not ramped up our production capabilities. And I think that NATO should collectively agree that their number one job the next year is to so arm and train the Ukrainians, who aren't asking any of us to fight for them. They're just asking for the equipment to get the job done. And I think every other issue is secondary to defeating Russia and Ukraine and forcing the Russians to accept that they're not going to be allowed to invade their neighbors. Nothing else matters compared to that.
What is the message of the latest news around the world when you see our president at Windsor Castle and he has to be escorted by the king around to tell him where to go? He comes out of Downing Street and he's looking in the air. It's something. You see Janet Yellen bowing to her counterpart in China, which you called sickening. What's the message? How are other people viewing us?
Well, I mean, part of it's just plain incompetence. For example, when the president touched the king, and it sort of was the president sort of guiding the king in the king's own castle. Technically, you don't touch the king. So either he didn't get a very good briefing, or being, Joe Biden at this stage of his life, he forgot whatever he was told. In the case of Yellen, I cannot overstate for our audience, in the context of Chinese history, a person who kowtows, who bows to the other person, is indicating clearly their inferiority. They're saying, you're the superior person, I'm the inferior person. For the American Secretary of the Treasury to go to Beijing to bow to a Chinese communist dictatorship is incredible. And you have to assume it's because they're just utterly incompetent at understanding the real world. I always tell people, liberals are folks who watched The Lion King and thought it was a documentary, and they really do believe lions and zebras sing and dance together, and we can't get them to understand that lions eat zebras. The Chinese are not Yellen's friends. They're not people. You'll notice he didn't bow back. And by the way, you had a very similar thing happen when Secretary of State Blinken went over, because he walked all the way across the stage to see Xi Jinping, who stood waiting for the supplicant, the American, to come to him. And in Chinese culture, and all of Asian culture, these kind of symbolic events are very real, and they send very powerful signals.
What about how will they address what's happening in China, within China's increasing threats to Taiwan? How will NATO handle that?
Well, I mean, we hope that it's a bluff, but again, notice the pattern. The American Secretary of the Treasury goes to China. Do the Chinese act nice? No. They try to seize an island that belongs to the Philippines, who is an American ally. And is Xi Jinping there greeting her in Beijing? No. He goes to the Eastern Front, which is the area directly across from Taiwan, and gives a very warlike speech saying, you have to be ready, you have to be prepared, we may have to fight. I mean, they're sending every signal they can that they're the big guy, they're tough, they're dominant, and that the Biden administration is just a bunch of basically ignorant wimps.
Well, Newt, thank you so much for coming on. Everyone pick up his book, Defeating Big Government Socialism. And his wife has written so many children's books about the government, and they're fascinating. My daughter loves them. And thank you for bringing those into our home. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.